Welcome to Module 6 of the Great Google Sites Cook-Off. You're almost there. In this video, we are going to look at some features that you can use to make your website even better and even more customized to your needs. The first thing that we are going to do is look at some gadgets that you can add to your website to help it to um, uh, provide some extra functionality that you may need. So I have a new page here called Gadget Examples, and notice that I already have it in edit mode. I'm going to put my cursor to the point that I want my gadget to be, and I'm going to go into the Insert menu on the top left. And first of all, let's look at the gadget text box. Going to insert a text box. So this is the interface that comes up. Your first opportunity will be to title your gadget. So maybe you want to have it to say something like recommended books. Notice that you can set your pixel width, or you can just leave it at 100% empty for the 100% width in that part of the page or the column. And then you can type in um, your titles, for example, things that you want to put in there for announcements or whatever you want to highlight on the page. Notice that you can use all of these different features to change the color, for example, to indent, to bullet, so on. So this part should be very familiar to you. Now I'm going to save it. And what will pop up will be something that looks like this. And notice that it allows you to set your alignment for your gadget, to decide if there's going to be wrap around some of their text that you have or if it's off. You also have this properties tab here, which can bring it back up in case you want to change something. So now I'm going to save it and see how it appears on the page. So that is how that appears on the page. If you don't like something about it, you can always go in, click on it again, edit it, and change it in any way that you would like for it to look. So that's a text gadget. Okay, now let's look at how to insert a calendar into your website. This will be useful for librarians if you want to insert a calendar related to your space and what's available, perhaps a laptop cart, or other type of technology. So anything that has to be shared that maybe has a calendar attached to it, you can also insert in the website. So again, I have my page on Edit, and I'm going to go into Insert. And Google by default has some popular gadgets lined up for you already. We won't look at all of them, but in this case, let's click on Calendar. This shows the beauty of using the Google Apps Suite because everything is tied to everything else. So here are some calendars that I have access to. And let's say that I would like to attach it to this calendar. Let's do the district-wide calendar. I'm going to select that one. And then it brings up some options for me. You have choices for how many pixels high and wide that you want. You can also change the view from month to week or the agenda view. You can change time zones and borders, titles, everything. So you can take a look at that. Now I'm going to go ahead and save it. Again, you see this familiar interface of the gadget before it's actually displayed on the page, where you can go back to change the settings or the alignment, the wrap. If you decide you want to remove it, you can exit out. Let's go ahead and save it and see what it looks like. And very nicely there, the CPS district-wide calendar is brought into this website. It could be any calendar that you subscribe to or that you own. Now let's take a look at how to add one of your Google groups to your website. First, I've found my groups in this black bar at the top. Going to go to My Groups, and what I'm looking for is the URL of a group. So let's say that I select the librarians group. Okay, I'm here, and then I'm going to go up to the browser and copy the URL for the site. Now I'm going to go back to my website and click into the page. I'm going to say Insert Group. The first thing it'll ask you for is your group URL, which I just copied from that group. I'm going to paste it in there. And again, you have some choices as to how the gadget will appear on the web page. So notice you can preview the gadget if you want. I'm going to select OK, save, and give it a moment while the group loads. So this is good for any group that you may have built with students, with other teachers in your schools, anybody in the CPS domain. That's what a group looks like. And as the group develops and people post messages on the group, it will appear right in your web page if you would like for it to. Now let's look at how to insert a map as a gadget in your website. This can be really useful for a variety of reasons if you're teaching about another country or another location, or even to provide a map to your school. So we're going to go back into the Insert menu. This time select Map. It brings up an interface like this, and the first thing it asks you to do is to type in a location. So I'll type in the address of Elizabeth Training Facility. Pops up there. I'm going to hit Return to bring the map up. Then I'm going to select that. Notice again you have choices on borders, the height, the width, and so on. I'll save that. Same interface as far as dealing with the gadget. Let me save it. And now a map is inserted into your website. So it's just that simple to, provide the directions that you need to put into the website. Now we're going to take a look at how to insert a Google presentation into your website. So that can be useful if you are going to share a presentation perhaps with people who have missed your presentation and need to review it later. But think beyond that. Think to your ability to scroll slideshows, announcements, um, anything that you want to convey information. So it doesn't have to have that specific presentation purpose in order for you to insert it. So I'm going to put my cursor where I want it. Go over here to Insert Presentation, and it will bring up a list of all the presentations that are currently associated with this with your account. And so you can just look through those and find the one that you actually want to insert. So let me just select one here. This can be presentations that you own or that are shared with you. As it comes up, you'll notice you have the option about the border. Again, you can change the title, but these are more significant. You can start the slideshow as soon as the player loads. So if you want to have something that is automatically running through the website so that the person who's visiting it can see it, you can select that. And also you can make it continuously looping. So that's a really powerful feature if you need that. And notice that you can select your size of small, medium, large. Keep in mind as you go larger, it's going to dominate the page more and it's going to be more difficult for the page to load. So I'll keep mine at small and save it. Same choices that you have for the gadgets. I'll save that. And then give it a moment to load, and it will load. Notice that the viewer has the option to make it full screen, to change how they want to view it, to advance the slides themselves. So they do have some options as well. But this is a really great feature if you want to have some visual interactivity and movement on your web page. So now we've looked at a few very popular gadgets. I just want to show you where you can find others to play around with. Some of these are pretty important. So notice that you can put in charts, documents, drawings, um, photo albums, spreadsheets. You can put videos from Google Video, YouTube, or Google Docs videos. Now I want to show you this, Get More Gadgets. These are gadgets that are available open. Let's click on the featured one. Here is the gadget again for calendar. This is a very important one. This is the iframe gadget. So anytime you're out there using other types of applications, such as Animoto, Glockster, VoiceThread, other video websites, you may want to try this iframe gadget in order to bring those in, because it does allow you to bring in the embeddable code from other sites. If you have a Twitter feed, you can use that. So there's quite a few here. Not all of them will apply to our purposes. You can also, if you go into the public gadgets, you'll see even more. And I'd say be really judicious with these because you do want to keep a professional site. Weather might be something you're interested in, but some of the gaming ones may not make sense for you, just depending on the purpose of the particular web page that you're working on. But I just wanted you to be aware that they are here. You can also locate gadgets by URL. If you hear one that everyone's talking about that seems to be popular at a website, you can grab it there as well. Next, I want to just show you some things that we haven't spent a lot of time on yet. I'm going to go back into the More tab here at the top right, and I want to show you a couple of things that you can do. Notice this revision history tab there. Every page has saved in it various versions of the page. So if you make some mistake and you want to go back to an earlier version, it does tell you when the edit occurred so you know approximately when you're looking at, and it also gives you the ability to revert to that version. So if you get into a lot of changes and then you realize you don't like them, you can go back. Another thing I want to show you is how to subscribe to site and page changes. Again, under the More menu, you may have several people managing a site together, and you want to be aware of when the other person or people are making changes to the site. So you can do that by page, or you can do the entire site. So let's look at a page notification. Clicking on that, and it tells me automatically you will be notified when this page is changed. Now, if you decide that you don't want to receive a lot of emails telling you every time a page is changed, especially if you're working on it yourself, you can just at that point click unsubscribe and you no longer will be receiving those emails. The same will go to the entire site changes. You'll be notified when the change to the site is made, but you can also unsubscribe to that. The last thing I would like to show you about are some of the sharing permissions. Clicking on that blue sharing box at the top right. We've discussed this before, but you can add the names of people who you would like to share or groups that you would like to share a web page with. So you've seen, or the website with. Now you've seen that, but let's look at something else. You can also choose to enable page level permissions up here in the top right. I'm going to click on that and show you. So it gives you a little bit of advice here that page level permissions allow you to control who can view or edit specific pages. And they give you a getting started guide before you do that. So it's something that you will only do if you have certain pages that you want other people to edit, but you want to maintain control over the site yourself. So you may not do this initially. This may be something you get into a little bit later, but I want you to be aware that it's there. If I turn on page level permissions, it enables them. And then what that does is for every single page that you have, you can click on it and you can select who has access to that particular page. So you, instead of the entire site, you're working through it page by page. Again, the only time you'd want to do that is if you have an entire site that you control yourself, but you have specific pages that you want other people to be able to access within that site. So as you click on it, you'll have the ability to add them page by page. If you decide that you don't want to do that anymore, you can always go over here and turn off page level permissions. And then you're back to only those who are owners or who have the ability to be able to share can do so. So that concludes our Google Sites cook-off training. You now have a site that is relatively complete, or you have all the skills to do the bones of a site. So it's now time to take your site out of the oven and to share it with others. Thank you for participating in the Great Google Sites Cook-Off.